after sort of 8 years of injecting heroin use, I decided that I wanted some help, and I went off to a clinic. Now, again, I was very, very lucky, because at that time, the clinics that ran what was called the Minnesota model, some of them were very confrontative and very dogmatic. And if I'd been to one of those, I would have been out the door in a couple of days. I wouldn't have been able to handle it, or they wouldn't be able to handle me. Well, I went to one that was much more sort of humanistic and client-centered, and they introduced me to Narcotics Anonymous, which was, again, I was really lucky. I mean, I think I went to NA in London in the mid-'80s, early 80s, and it was a very tolerant, pluralistic. I mean, a lot of the stuff in the meetings was about, not judging other people's recoveries, about being tolerant of other people, of not, and that sort of pluralism is not there in all 12-step societies. Sometimes they're very kind of rigid, and it works for a lot of people that way, but it would not have worked for me. I would never have stayed if, somehow I'd been corralled into a rigorous way of life that, I needed that freedom to move around, It's a bit more subtle than that, though, because, I think warmth and acceptance is there even in the rigid versions of 12 steps.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
People are very welcomed.
That's nicely nuanced. Yeah, go on.
But it's more, that it's that kind of happy-clappy, entering into a sort of orthodoxy, which doesn't appeal to me at all. That you have this rigorous routine. Now, again, this is personality stuff. Some people absolutely adore that, and that's what they want, and they find gratification from the routine and from the ringing your sponsor all the time. And there's again, not for me at all. And what was so nice was that the 12-step environment for me was, I could find a place in it. I met some really interesting, open-minded people in London and A, many of whom are still attending, yeah, it was just lucky that I found that version, because otherwise I think I probably wouldn't have stuck around. And it's kind of important to me still. I am much more respectful and understanding of people who like a much more rigorous and, kind of structured approach to things. But I also, from my own experience, know that doesn't work for everyone. And luckily, if someone comes to me and has difficulties with the 12-step resource, or sometimes it might not be for them, but at least I can give an example of how actually you don't have to be the kind of stereotypical 12-stepper to fit into the 12-step fellowships.